But to start things off, I'd give you a tour of the models that I think mean the most to me, because I don't have much room to display all the models I have now, so I had to kind of pare back. Every firefighter has to have a Squad 51. Now, most of you will recognize the Dodge Little Red truck front on it. Everything else is customized. Built the back out of evergreen plastic. The one on top of it is the twin agent unit from the DC Fire Department. And then, of course, the water rescue truck from two different resin models on that one. And then the omnibus from Disney here, made up for the 15th anniversary, 1987. The first time I ever came to Disney with my kids after I got out of the Air Force was actually a bonus model, because I bought a 1914 Dennis fire truck, and that happened to be in the box with it. It came up here with our Christmas decorations and just kind of never went back down to the garage. Finally got my hands on the Simba crash truck. Once I got that, I knew I had to get a car to go along with it, and I found the Mercedes-Benz here. Got that one on eBay. But the technical rescue truck in the back there, I had gotten the Mercedes-Benz cab last year at Modelpalooza, and custom made the back for it. Next shelf down is my 1/32 scale models. It represents my Philadelphia Fire Department models. And I've, actually the one there in the middle is FDNY, New York City. The two Macs that I've started customizing, the one on the far left is Mac Baker aerial scope that was assigned to Tower 6, and the one next to it is Squirt 9. And then down on the bottom, I've got my selection of Chiefs cars and then a couple of smaller models there. Now, as we go into the center here, I got my Christmas present, which was a Winky Blinky fire truck. Old Fisher-Price thing that's very hard to come by, so we keep that one in a nice plastic case. Now, down at the bottom, I've still got some space to work on some there. The one on the farthest left on the bottom shelf there is from the Linwood Volunteer Fire Company in Linwood, New Jersey, where I first started out as a firefighter years and years ago. Now on this shelf, on the left side there, when I was in college, I was a member of the Rustburg Volunteer Fire Department outside of Lynchburg, Virginia. And that was one of our pumpers there. The main pumper was a American LaFrance Pioneer model. The one in the second was what we had for structural when I was assigned to Howard Air Force Base in Panama. Our structural pumper was taken care of by the Pan Canal Commission, and that's engine number 9 from Howard Air Force Base. Next one I am still in the middle of working on, and that's Rescue 1 from the Fire Department of the City of New York. Up on top here is another model that my wife thought looked pretty cool, and I should make it, and it's a Coast Guard tugboat, Spindle. Of course, since I had the Squad 51 over there, I knew I had to stick with old TV shows and balance it out. So over here, we've got Rescue 8 from the Los Angeles County Fire Department. That was like the original emergency on TV. And up above it, I've got my Disneyland model of one of their backstage engines. And of course, this is my my water rescue team here. And the cute little firebox there actually contains a telephone. My daughter gave that to me as a present. Now, carrying on, trucks I was actually assigned to at Howard Air Force Base. I spent most of my time on this truck right here. That's the Rescue 10. And then one of our crash trucks assigned there, the P4, was Crash 6. Now, the base before Howard Air Force Base that I was assigned to was McGuire Air Force Base. And now, well, Hazardous Materials 13 wasn't there when I was there, and this is Rescue 10 down at the end here, but we had an older model when I was there. Engine 3 and Engine 4 were both assigned pieces of apparatus when I was there. And I understand Engine 3 had a number change after I left to Engine 15 at one point. And then there are some other Air Force models as far as Chiefs vehicles go down at the bottom. Now gotta have a nice printer, because I'm doing most of my decals as custom decals with the decal sheets there, and making my own. And then some of the patches here, actually some of these patches were behind my desk when I was NCOIC of Fire Communications at Howard Air Force Base back in 1985. So it's been a while. Then the desk itself, I've got my spray booth set up here. Of course, because of limited space, I really have to clear everything out of the spray booth every time I need to use it, but I need to use it for storage when I'm working on it, because I've got a limited amount of space here. And then I've got all my parts drawers here, broken down for what I needed most. I work mostly on fire trucks, so you can see that I've got things set up by pumpers and lights and sirens, and then interior and exterior accessories, tools and equipment that I'll be working with, chassis components and tires. And for working models, I've got separate trays for each model that I happen to be working on at the time. Then specifically, I've got my Tamiya paints up top. Now in the drawers, top drawers mainly for bottled paints and markers, scissors, tools that are too big to fit in up top. And I've got some spare bottles for mixing. All my rattle cans are in here. And then a drawer full. You can't really tell what this brown one is, but this is diamond plate paper. But this is all evergreen papers in here, or plastics in here. And then the bottom drawer is my favorite. This is just my junk drawer. I try to keep the junk drawer as separated as I can with all kinds of stuff. And some of this stuff may look a little weird, and that's because it came from a strange spot. When I was on a wound vac for months a couple of years ago, I noticed that one of the dust caps that they took off the wound vac, this is it right here. The end of it looked a lot like a nozzle cap from a fire truck. So I asked the nurse if I could have it, and when I asked her why, she asked why, I told her exactly what it was. I told her what it looked like to me. So from that point on, she started just snatching up everything that looked weird. It kind of became an obsession with her, as you can tell. But I tried to see how many different ways I could use things. For instance, this is the model I wanted to talk about. U.S. Air Force P-13. It had a dry chemical tank up here filled with Purple K, and then in the back you had a halon tank. These were two separate handrails in the back. Well, nobody really manufactures this, so the dry chemical tank here is made from a saddle tank from a tractor trailer. I needed another tank here, but couldn't find one that exactly met my needs. So this piece here is actually a piece of PVC pipe. But when it came to PVC pipe, I really couldn't find anything to make the ends with. Both of these ends here didn't quite work. So I broke out this bag here. These fit perfectly right in the ends of the PVC. So all I had to do at that point was take one of these caps and just kind of round off the end of it after I put it in there. It fit perfectly, and it looks like a halon tank. So I've still got a little bit of work to do on that. Still got some lights to make for the top of it. But that's why I think you should never throw anything out. Also, just to finish up the tour here real quick, I got some extra model parts underneath there. There's no real complete kits of anything underneath there, except a couple that my son is working on. Some more big parts and things that I don't know what to do with, but I know I'll find a use for. And then accessories for the Dremel that's hanging right here. Currently, my airbrush is in a box somewhere in storage, so I haven't been able to use the airbrush at all. So I've been using rattle cans and brushes for everything. So I really can't wait to either buy a new airbrush or find mine and figure out what box it's in. But that's my workshop. Tell me about yours.